Hello friends, my name is Brin. Welcome back to my channel. Here on Brin Darcy we talk about life and study at the Australian National University in Canberra, obviously in Australia, and what your life could be like if you studied here as well. In today's video we're going to be talking about, well, we're not going to be talking about, we're going to be doing a gap year Q&A so that I can share the answers to the common questions I get asked about my gap year. If any of you guys are thinking of taking a gap year or you're not sure about doing it, please have a watch through, reach out to me. Yeah, I'm happy to talk to you about my experience as well. I've made a few other videos on my channel which will be in the same playlist. I will link the playlist somewhere. But yeah, if you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment below about where you would like to travel to in the future once we're able to. So question one is, how was starting university again after taking a year off to just do your thing? So I actually took it was a year and a quarter off, or a year and a half off I ended up taking between my last exams and when I first started uni. And for me, I didn't find that there was any problem starting uni again because I was ready to start uni. So I've talked about this in my previous video, but basically I got an offer to a number of different schools. I chose the ANU and I chose to defer that offer. I wasn't sure at the time whether I was going to take it, but after a year of traveling and existing and working and living and doing all of those things overseas, I decided, actually, yeah, I'm ready to study. I feel like my mind has been reset a bit from the school experience, which I really didn't enjoy. So that was one of the reasons why I decided to take a gap year. But yeah, my mind felt rejuvenated and ready to start again, and I was ready to go. So yeah, I decided to go back to uni. I guess it was a little bit difficult. Honestly, I thought it was going to be more difficult than it actually was. I was very prepared for it to be very hard, and for me it wasn't. For you, maybe it's a different story, but for me it wasn't. Question two is, did you feel funny about your age difference when you went back to uni? For me, personally, no one has ever asked my age at university. I get asked my age at work, I get asked my age other places, never at university. Yeah, no one's ever asked. I don't think I'm 1 year different to everyone else. That's not a huge amount in the scheme of adult life. So no. Question number three is, did you spend time around your friends who are already on their second year of uni, and how did that make you feel? So for me, that's quite pertinent because I actually lived with my friend when I was in my share house last year, and she was in her second year of uni. She was in her second year of uni, and I live with her, and I would say that wasn't bad at all. It was really fine. I think that people think there's some huge difference between first year and second year. There's not, at least in Australia. You can pick subjects from any sort of level typically, so you're often with people who are different ages to you anyway, because you can pick a subject that's meant to be a third year subject in your first year if you wanted to. I did that. So yeah, it wasn't weird. It was good to be able to ask her questions about the submission portals and stuff. Question five is, do you regret your gap year? For me, that's a big fat no. I obviously met my now partner of 3 years on my gap year. I met some amazing friends. I had some amazing experiences. I do not regret anything about it. Even the bad bits, I don't regret, because they were learning opportunities. I think that everyone should have at least 6 months out of school or university or work or whatever to just sort of, it sounds wanky, but find themselves as someone outside of academia or outside of their professional life, and just sort of really figure out who they are before they make those big life decisions. So yeah, 100% I would recommend anyone do it. I would recommend anyone in year 12 now take a gap year. I would recommend to anyone in year 12 now to take a gap year. I do not regret taking mine one single bit. Question six is, what did you do? So on my gap year, I did a number of different things. So first of all, I traveled. I just traveled Europe. I've made a whole video about this, like what I did in more detail. first I travelled Europe. I went to England, Scotland, Ireland, Italy, France, Switzerland, and then later I lived in Spain. And I went to Germany as well, but that was just the traveling sort of generally that I did. And then as well as that, I worked first as an au pair, which didn't quite work out, and I did that in Italy. And then after that, I worked in the UK as a guest experience executive in like the hotel industry, basically. Question 7 is, did you travel? So obviously, yes, I did travel. And do you think taking the gap year was worth it for the traveling? I think, yeah. I think that traveling, there are different types of travel that you can do. I think traveling for a few days is one thing, and that's nice. I'm not discounting that at all. But I think that traveling for an extended period of time and living in places and being able to do that without the ties of work or school is a really unique experience, and that's definitely something I would recommend people do if they have the capacity to do that. Number 8 is, did you find new friends during your gap year, and did you find people who are also taking a gap year? And that's yes to both of those. I've made lifelong friends from the experiences on my gap year. I talk to them every week. Like, I'm very close with the people who I met overseas. Obviously, my partner Lewis, I met him in the UK, so clearly, yes, I did make some friends. And yeah, I did meet a whole heap of people who were also on their gap years, a lot of Australians as well, who were in the UK, for example, when I was working in the accommodation industry. But also you meet people in hostels and stuff who are also taking gap years from all over the world. So yeah, I met a ton of people. I'm not in contact with all of them, but I still met them, and that's an amazing experience. Well, this is a really good question, and that is, how did you feel when you saw other people like on social media talking about their life at uni, or their wins, their experiences, whatever? I think this is something I'd like to talk about in more detail, but I think that comparison is always the thief of joy. And I am so lucky that I knew that what I was doing was right for me, so I didn't necessarily compare myself to other people. And I knew that once I got back to uni, that would be, like, I would be doing great things and achieving great things, so that was all fine. So for me, I didn't necessarily feel any like FOMO, but I know people definitely can. I guess I'm just really lucky that I felt like that was the right path for me, and I was like really confident in that being like the season of life that I was meant to be in. So yeah, I would say I felt okay seeing other people's stuff on social media. I think it definitely feels weirder now seeing people like having babies and stuff on social media at 21. To me, that's a way weirder feeling than what I felt having other people talk about their uni experience and stuff. So number 10 is, do you wish that you were back on your gap year, or are you so happy that you are like now at uni and where you are? And I think that sometimes I do get nostalgic for like the times that we had while I was on my gap year, but I wouldn't say I wish I was back on it. I think that I'm happy to be where I am, and I'm not ecstatic to be at uni, but I think that, like, again, I think this is the season of life I'm meant to be in now, and I don't think that I should be thinking about being in different places when I don't need to be. Number 11 is, did you feel like you needed your gap year? Did you like have life lessons, or do you need it to be the person that you have become today? I think that that's an obvious yes for me. I think that I learned so much about myself during that time, about relationships with other people, about how to live like an adult without any sort of influence from your parents, because I obviously had to do that all on my own overseas. I think that, yeah, that was a fundamental shaping experience in my life. And I think that that still has a resounding impact on me today, and the person that I am and the person that I'm becoming. Yeah, I think that I needed to learn the lessons that I learned and make the decisions that I made in order to become the person that I am now. And that's why before I said I don't regret it, because I think that each of those experiences that I had was a learning experience. And finally, number 12 was, did you enjoy your gap year? Yes, obviously, I loved it. As I said before, I would recommend anyone take that 100% if you have the capacity and the financial ability to do so. take it. It's amazing. You know, you can work and study, you can work, you can study, you can learn a language, you can volunteer. Like, there's so many different things that you can do in every corner of the world. So yeah, I really recommend taking a gap year. There's definitely something for everyone. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Comment below if you've been on a gap year, if you'd like to go on a gap year, or where you'd like to travel to in the future. Anyway, that's it from me. Bye!